Juneteenth was celebrated yesterday as it was signed a federal holiday back in 2021. And because it's something celebrating people other than white Americans, conservatives had so much to say about it. So let's start with the tiny faced man himself, Charlie Kirk, whose little picture on Twitter, I can't even believe is not a Photoshop to shrink the size of his facial features and enlarge the size of his head, tweeted out, "You should be working today, not taking today off for a CRT inspired federal holiday that competes with July 4th. Although it's almost like the July 4th was not a day of freedom and independence for Black people living in America at that time. I wonder why some people might want to recognize a day that actually celebrates the freedom of Black people in this country. One of those people who definitely doesn't want to celebrate that is Clandis Owens herself, who tweeted out, "Juneteenth is still ghetto and made up. Hope everyone enjoys it." Although I'll say she got quite a bit of backlash on Twitter for tweeting that out, as did Charlie Kirk. But with her logic, if Juneteenth, which is the anniversary, for anyone who doesn't know, is the anniversary of the final enslaved persons being freed in Texas after the Civil War, AKA Emancipation Day. If that's a made up holiday, every holiday is a made up holiday. July 4th is a made up holiday. And Republican Senator Josh Hawley surprisingly attempted to be supportive of Juneteenth, ? But it really just proved how out of touch he is. So let's pull up the tweet from Josh Hawley. He said, "Today is a good day to remember Christianity is the faith and America is the place slavery came to die." Which is so not true. And Laura Bassett, writing for Jezebel, wanted to just prove how untrue his sentiment was. Mind-blowingly stupid. So let's get into that. She wrote, "In reality, the United States lagged decades behind most other countries in the Western Hemisphere in abolishing slavery. England, Mexico, France, and Denmark had all ended slavery before we adopted the 13th Amendment in 1865. And while it's unclear from a logical or even syntax perspective what, quote, Christianity is the faith is supposed to mean in that tweet, Hawley also seems to be whiffing on the irony that Americans used Christianity to justify slavery in the first place. For white people, June 19th is a great day either to read and amplify Black voices and Black history and consider the racist underpinnings of this nation, or at least shut the F up if you're uninterested in doing the aforementioned. Unfortunately, many white people, particularly Republican white men, find themselves incapable of any kind of self-reflection on this day and instead vomit their fragile defensive feelings on Maine. Exhibit A, Senator Josh Hawley." And this is all evident by this C-SPAN caller.
Hi, good morning. I really appreciate your show. It certainly enlightens me how Democrats think. I have not heard one white Democrat apologize for slavery. I haven't heard any Black person say thank you to the over 300,000 white men who died to free those Black slaves. I'm astonished. I realize we're focusing on slavery, but my descendants are from Scotland and Ireland. We never owned slaves.
Jesus H. Christ. I'm begging other Irish Americans to stop making us look bad. Stop claiming that we're the original slaves. It's not true. Indentured servitude is not nearly the horrific monstrosity on civilization that was chattel slavery. And the impact of it has not been lasting like the impact of chattel slavery. Shut the hell up, man. Just shut the hell up. I mean, Jake, these people are so racist that they're mad that they got a day off work. To me, you gotta be a professional racist to be angry about that.
I know, right? So, okay, so I'm a first generation immigrant when I came here when I was 8. So my family certainly had nothing to do with slavery here in America. That doesn't mean that I'm opposed to Black people celebrating liberation from slavery. Why would it mean that? Like, why do you go in that direction? The only reason to go in that direction is if you're telling on yourself. Like you caught feelings like, oh yeah, well, now they want a day off? Oh, just because they were liberated? Why are you upset by that? What a weird thing to be upset about. Are you upset that America was liberated, that Mexico was liberated, Canada? Like all these countries have different days of celebration. And sometimes, yes, for a minority within the country. Why does that bother you? It's weird that it bothers you. All right, now let's break it down one by one, the comments. So Josh Hawley, where slavery came to die. Well, there's actually some ironic truth to that because we were one of the last countries to stop doing slavery. So it lasted until we were among the last to kill it off, right? England and Denmark and France and Mexico had all ended slavery way before us. No, we hung on to it all the way till its deathbed. The only part that I agree with even slightly, not in the framing, not in how he said it is, look, the Union soldiers gave their lives to end slavery. That's great, that's why I love the Union. You know the other name for the Union? America. The other name for Confederates, traitors. And by the way, Josh Hawley, who said that comment, also voted in opposition to renaming military bases after Confederate generals. He thought these Confederate generals that betrayed the country, committed treason, led to the deaths of hundreds of thousands of Americans, and all so that they could keep slaves. We should celebrate them by naming our American military bases after these traitors. I'm sure that Josh Hawley would like to do likewise for Osama bin Laden and some other people, and maybe Goering and others that have also attacked America. Now we go to Candace Owens. It's a made up holiday. Of course, Ray Vaughn is right. All holidays are made up. Then I wondered, wait, when did they start celebrating these holidays? So for example, I have never seen Candace Owens or Charlie Kirk or any of these folks question Father's Day. Got news for you, Father's Day, entirely made up, okay? And not made up to celebrate fathers because man, the day of liberation for fathers, no. That was made up to sell more cards and flowers and nonsense, okay? It's an invention of American marketing firms, okay? And by the way, it turns out the first Father's Day was celebrated in 1910, whereas Juneteenth was celebrated almost immediately after liberation. So between 1865 and 1877 is when it began. So it's older than Father's Day. But I'm sure, which just a couple of days ago was Father's Day, right before Juneteenth, I'm sure you'll find Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk so mad about it, right? No. They're paid to attack black people for a living, and gay people and others. But Candace is black, so she gets paid more to be a sellout. Are you gonna cry, Candace? Are you gonna cry about that? I'm sure you got a very comfortable house to go cry in for being that sellout, but that's her job, is to attack other black people and call them ghetto for saying, hey, you know what? Maybe it was a good thing that slavery ended. Maybe we should celebrate that a little bit. We didn't have freedom in 1776. We had it in 1865. No, that's apparently ghetto. Candace, we all see you, man. You think we don't see you? And it's not working for the idiot billionaires funding Candace Owens. She's not convincing any other black people to cheer on like, oh yeah, this damn holiday. You're celebrating them to slavery. What was wrong with it in the first place? Oh, it's not working. Nobody thinks that. You're paying her for just the, you know what? You're the billionaires funding her. You're the suckers at the table. She's totally ineffectual. All minorities laugh at her and think she's a laughing stock, sellout, like embarrassment. But you morons keep giving her money. Go attack black people. Go attack their holidays. Go attack everything about her. And the number of voters she switched over is 0.
I mean, I can't even wrap my head around being mad about a day off work. I guess if you're Charlie Kirk, though, you don't want to have to pay your employees time off work. Maybe that's where he's coming from.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.